On his debut, Jarno Opmeer wins at Spa.
It's Martinez in Montreal. David beats Goliath.
It's a true underdog story. John Evans wins at Mexico.
And it's Super Sam Corby who takes the PlayStation Championship.
FRA Ronhard takes his first WOR Championship. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jake Benham is a two-time WOR champion.
Stop it! Around the outside of line. Shadow is contact again. Ronhard is around.
Melanie, surely is going to win here at Abu Dhabi. He does.
15 races across 5 continents. From Brazil to Belgium and Bahrain to Britain. Soon this story starts. Across 3 platforms, hundreds will begin the quest. The quest in search of glory and the right to be called a WOR champion. Lights out, and we're racing in Season 12.
Good evening and welcome everybody to WR Season 12. We are at the Australian Grand Prix, Melbourne, Albert Park, whatever you'd like to call it. It is one of the, well, usually the start of the season. You know, you think of Australia, especially since 1996 when it did move to it. But we're pretty much dead in the middle of this season here in WR. And I am joined for the remainder of the season by Jish. Jish, welcome along. It's going to be a great end to the season, and I'm glad you're along with me for it.
Yeah, thank you, Warder. Hello, everyone. Welcome to WOR. We're back once again here at Australia, and as you said, usually one of the starters of the season, and a lot of people waking up early in real life, which is not pleasant, but that's the way it is. It's always great around here in Austria. 6 rounds left to go in the season with a very, very tight pack season in front of us. A lot of championship deciding actions to be made. 3 points separate Shadow and also Findium. Shadow also making his return to the platform from the PC side of things. There's a few issues on PC. I think we can all agree on that. But yeah, here for the Xbox side of things at the Australian Grand Prix, and it is full wet for qualifying, which is a bit interesting.
Yeah, looking at it, it's looking like an interesting wet setup for a lot of these guys. It's going to be interesting how how this is going to affect everyone, because not a lot of people do a lot of practice in the wet weather. They just hope for the dry. These guys now have a lot of work to do. But, you know, I'm going to just quickly ask your thoughts on, you know, Shadow coming back with the PC and everything that's going on. He's still got the championship lead. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just more of a showing that how dominant. Sorry, that's it. How dominant he's been the whole season. How he's just kept this championship lead after missing a load of rounds that he has. Obviously, his lead is a little bit shallower than it was when he just started. But yeah, he's definitely still got the championship lead. Obviously, 3 points in front of Findium right now. So the championship is still there to be won. Obviously, Findium may have a little bit of an up. Obviously, having a little bit of some more better performances than a few of the drivers here. So I think he'll be here in good spirits. Obviously, Shadow maybe a little bit rusty. Obviously, PC and Xbox are very, very different games. If you like, the handling's very, very weird. The tyre wear is weird here. Well, different to say the least. But yeah, Shadow obviously mainly the main favourite as well. But Findium definitely has a chance. Also making a return to the platform was Ronhard. I don't know if he is in today. I don't think he is. But yeah, Shadow makes his way back onto the platform and should be even tastier than he was before.
We'll have to wait and see how it all pans out, especially with Alfie struggling the last few weeks as well. Now, before we do even more announcements today, that we are delighted to announce that, you know, we've got our second sponsorship for WR Season 12, and that is GridRival, where, you know, just the link is going to be in the description very, very shortly. If not, it's already in there. Might even pop in with occasional people just throwing it in there. But just search for WR Racing on, or World Online Racing, sorry, on the GridRival, and you get to compete with maybe the likes of myself, yourself, Jish, or anyone inside of the WR league that is on the app, and there's a fair few already. I haven't got the exact numbers to hand, unfortunately, but you download the GridRival app using the link, and you sign up to the league, and you have a little bit of a laugh with it and everything, and it really does help the league out moving forward as well. And maybe we just keep on taking these steps and make WOR the best league ever. It's easy already there, but we never know what's around the corner, do we? Obviously, guys in the chat, let us know who you think is going to come on poll. Jish, I mean, when he was here before, Shadow was untouchable on that poll step. He was nearly always on that. The only one that was close to him a lot of the time was Alfie, but he still had a little bit of a gap to Shadow. But in the race, Alfie was able to match him, wasn't he? It's now a little bit all linked together.
Yeah, obviously Shadow's qualifying pace was absolutely immaculate, as it always has been throughout his league racing time. But yeah, obviously Alfie did have the upper hand in the race, and it got a little bit tense at times, notably around Zandvoort and then also Canada, where they've had some issues as well. But hopefully they can try and keep it clean tonight. But obviously with the wet conditions that we have around here in qualifying, it's going to be very, very tight to decide who gets pole. Meanwhile, Shadow is just about to cross the line to do a 34.133. I'm not sure if that is positive or not. It looks pretty good on track on paper. Well, I would say on paper. His lap looked pretty good as Shizuluka puts in a 135.621. So must be pretty good for Shadow to do the lower 34s and go about a second and a bit quicker than his rival. PSR Boots puts it into P2 with a 35.356. Leader of the Tier 2 Championship, of course, looking likely to go up the division next season for season 13. Baldwin Boy, interestingly, on the intermediate compound of tyres for his first run, but has invalidated, so he's going to have to back out of that one. PSR Wexro as well, coming from Tier 2, puts it into P2, 34.622 for himself. One of the Ferraris, I believe that was Harvey, or M Racer actually, who invalidated his lap, which is unfortunate to see. As Recluse has crashed, I believe. That Mercedes has crashed just outside of Sector 3, which is not what he wants at all. I wonder how he did it. I think he's just lost the throttle a little bit, and that is a loose Mercedes off the track there as we run on board Maloney, just invalidating his time there. Unfortunate to see. Baldwin Boy comes into the pit lane. Plackey puts it to P4, 35.316 for him. Wilson with a 34.987, which is immediately replaced to do a Red Bull 1-2, 34.498 for FRA Elite, and he is definitely he is one of the upcoming talents. He is FRA Elite. He's looking absolutely fantastic this season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He came into the league quite, into Tier 1 quite as an unknown. I don't want to say an unknown because that sounds really harsh, but not someone that was here before. But then, bang, straight away in there, some great lap times. And I think Bobbitt's did the same thing as Recluse, but managed to hold it out of turn 13. And I think that's how, maybe a bit too much curb, a bit too much of the green grass, and just completely spun him out. Let's go on board with Agonised. What can he do in the Alpine driver? Obviously, not been the best of seasons for him. He's a bit hit and miss at the moment, but he's had some really great times. However, he nearly loses it through the long turn of 8, and that, well held, but it's not what he wants to do.
Yeah, very lucky to not lose a front wing or a tyre there for Agonised. Just got on the throttle a little bit too early there. And the rear axles lifts itself up and spins around, but lucky to not have any major damage on that car. Maloney is looking a little bit quicker into Sector 2 as he makes his way through Sector 3 now, flying towards the right. He might be backing out of this lap, I'm not quite sure. I think breaking in towards the left as he makes his way through the final corner. Does he decide to pull into the pits? No, he's going to carry on this lap as he makes his way through the final corner. Elite on pole position and goes almost a second quicker than his teammate Shadow to a 34.133. Maloney will cross the line, goes P5 with the 34.759, and obviously Elite with 2 lap worn tyres. Obviously that is the strategy you usually go to if it is in wet conditions. Usually do about 2 or 3 fastest laps concurrently on the same set. It is quite quick. Obviously the grip is a little bit more there on warm compound tyres. There's another championship leader in the mix. Alfie beat Shadow to do a 33.776, so 2 drivers in the 33s now. Shadow to a 34.133, but 10 minutes left to go in the session. He's still got plenty of time to do some more quick laps out there. Bourbon Boy incredibly wants to stay on that intermediate compound tyre. He wants those intermediate compound tyres to work as best as he can, and looking likely there's a few puddles starting to disappear, so the intermediates may come a little bit quicker than some people may expect.
Yeah, Bourbon Boy is still trying it out on those intermediates in the McLaren. We'll have to wait and see how he handles it when it's actually a proper lap. Findium throws himself into P7 with his latest time of a 1:34.6, but still not close enough to some of the guys up towards the top. Let's see Harvey on a lap, and one of the last ones on the lap at the moment with 9 minutes left of qualifying remaining, and the Ferrari driver coming through the now changed turns 9 and 10. Obviously can't wait to see how that all happens in the new game, but at the moment we've got the old track, and it still can throw up a few surprises.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, main talking points is around 11, 12 and 13. Obviously, I've seen a few videos where the front curve of 11 literally almost acts as a wall there, so you get spun round, but hopefully that doesn't happen today. But you really have to exploit 11, 12 and 13. That really catches you out, otherwise you just won't get a good lap time alongside, as Harvey has done that pretty well as he makes his way through the final corner. A little bit of a switch on the final corner, a little bit of a twizzle as well. He makes his way through the final corner and across the line. Harvey across the line now, stays P5 with a 34.277. Obviously, challenges driver qualifier from the Xbox side of things, finishing P6, and does promote himself to the Pro Exhibition, which is a massive achievement for him. Massive congratulations to him. And already you can see a few people electing for the intermediates. Only a few, but there are a few people out there. Bourbon Boy is one, M Racer also is one, and Connor and Wilson electing for the intermediates as well, alongside Cindry in the pit lane. So just thinking it may get a little bit dry out there, as Agonize having more of a moment, where he did have a moment last lap as well. So he's really not enjoying these wet conditions right now.
No, he's not, and I've gone on board with Placky to see what he could do. He's on 3 laps. Well, he's done 3 laps on his wets at the moment. We'll have to wait and see how it will all pan down. I think he's taken a bit too much curb and into the pits for the McLaren driver. So I'm not sure. Bourbon Boy definitely invalidated his last lap. Can he do anything this time round? Is it still too wet? These guys know what they're talking about more than me, and the puddles are clearing up. So it must be about time for the switch over. And I think it's said in the chat as well that, as soon the one of the last people to set a lap time is clearly going to have a good shot at pole here.
Yeah, absolutely. Elite's done a 31.279 in Sector 1. Let's see how Bourbon Boy takes it across the line. He comes 31.129. So he's a little bit quicker than Elite into Sector 1. So I think the intermediates are probably looking likely to be the tyre right now as he makes his way through Sector 2. Big braking's a little bit of a double lock-up there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. But the intermediates are definitely much quicker than the wets right now. 6 minutes, 43 seconds left to go. I doubt we will see any dry running, but I think the intermediates will probably see a lot of Sector 2. He's purple Sector 2, so the intermediates are definitely the right tyre now. So he makes his way through 11, 12, and 13. A little bit of a moment out of the exit of 13. Hits the curb a little bit awkwardly. Just has to correct the wheel ever so slightly. Big braking zone in towards the right-hander, on towards the curb, and ride that left-hand curb like a skateboard as you make their way through Sector 3 now. The right-hander very fast in the dry conditions. A little bit of a lift in the wets as he makes his way through the final couple of corners now with Bourbon Boy. It's looking a very decent lap, and maybe just looking likely to beat Elite as he makes his way through the final corner. DRS would be enabled in the dry, not in the wet, across the line for Bourbon Boy, and it is going to be P5, 34.230, but the intermediates are definitely much quicker at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Let's see what else is on. Shadow is on another set of wets. He's half a second up on his time. As we can still see, Recluses, and he's invalidated on the exit of 14. So he was quicker, but I don't know if it's going to be quick enough to beat his teammate of Elite at the moment. So, and into the pits he comes. Who is on a lap? Wilson has just started. So let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. His teammate's tyre, or Recluse's tyre, is still in the wall at 14. That's or just before 14. There's a little bit of a tail wiggle there from Wilson. So it's these intermediate tyres just not holding up perfectly right now.
They're not absolutely perfect, but I think they're probably a little bit better than the wets right now. Obviously, there's still a little bit of standing water just on the outside, but the racing line seems quite clear at the moment of any standing water, but they're trying to exploit it as best as they can. Yellow flags in Sector 1, that's at turn 3, as a few people just deciding to back off there. Wilson into Sector 2, 8 tenths up on his personal best, so he's absolutely flying right now. And as we saw Shadow come into the pit lane on his wet lap, he was looking likely he may go for one more, but he's decided to peel into the pit lane, and he knows that the intermediate's a little bit quick. Obviously, Agonize still on the wet compound tyres alongside Woken, who's yet to set a lap, and also Clenzo's put it into P3 on his wet time with a 34.094, so he should see the times tumble down in these final few sectors, or final few laps of qualifying. Round the final corner for Wilson, currently on a very good lap, looking likely for pole position. He went purple in Sector 2. He's got the Alfa Romeo just in front of it, across the line for Wilson, and it is going to be P2, 33.462, and it's just ever so closer to Elite, but that is how quick Elite has been. 33.393 for him on his wet compound tyres lap, and he's about to go for one more.
Yeah, he's just exiting the pit now, but it's on board with, well, I'm on board with Shizuka. Nice to see him back in the grid as well. He was here last season in the Ferrari, and he's taken the last corner very, very wide. Nearly collects himself into the wall. He was up on his time, but I think it's not going to be as good as he wanted. He will probably go again, but that's a 134.2 on his return to WOR Tier 1. Here comes Harvey, just starting a lap time, so actually I might go on board with Bobbert. He's about halfway through. He's in Sector 2, heading to turn 9 and 10. Clark is, well, known, or was known. I mean, I don't think he's too much up on his time, Bobberts, at the moment, so he's got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of work as he's just under 4 tenths of a second up on his time, so it's looking likely a 34.2, which should put him around P8, maybe P9. See how he takes Sector 3, big braking zone, in towards 13 and in towards 14. He comes a little bit of a break in the wets. It's a little bit of a kiss, a little bit wide on the entry, gets on the curb on the exit. That's not a great turn in for Bobbert as he makes his way through the final corner now. A big straight to go. He has to get this perfectly. A little bit of a lift off. It's a little bit scruffy into Sector 3. Let's see how his lap time compares to everyone else across the line. He goes and puts it into P3, so he's a second up, so it looks a little bit better than it was on track, but a great effort there from Bobbert, and he may be looking likely to go again there. I see add a little bit of a spin, well, a little bit of a moment out of the exit of 2, but he should be all okay as Elite across the line, 7 tenths up, and this should be pole, and it is pole position, 31.905, and he's gone a second and a half quicker than Wilson there. Elite absolutely on top here in Australia.
Harvey managing a 133.0 there on his lap time, putting himself P2, but Elite is, well, he's clear of the rest at the moment. Blackie on a lap just coming across. He's down on his lap time, so he's not going to go too much higher. It's P8, so he actually made some time from Sector 2. Findium then, how can he respond? He's coming across the line with 1 minute 50 seconds remaining of qualifying. He's got a lot to prove at the moment. It's P2 for him, a 32.8, showing he's still got championship fight inside him as well. The other guy to really watch out for, I suppose, at this stage of it, is either Alfie or Shadow. So let's go on board with Shadow in the Red Bull. His teammates, well, stealing the spotlight at the moment, but you know, he's doing a good job. Well, I suppose he's doing a good job in his return to Xbox. It does take, like you mentioned earlier on, does take a little bit longer to get used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, PC and Xbox have almost 2 different games, if you like. But Shadow is doing very, very well at the moment. Only, well, I say only, he's put it into P11 right now on his return as Bobberts puts it into P2 with 32.653 with 1 minute left to go in the session, and Elite is coming around the final corner. Does he want to try and improve? No, he's not. He's coming into the pit lane. Shadow will be next to cross the line soon after as he makes his way into 13. Not sure what his Sector 2 time was like. Elite retires from the session. He's happy with his time so far. What can his teammate do? Championship leader, of course, of Shadow. Can he go any quicker? Can he snatch pole position away from his rookie teammates? He makes his way through the final corner now. Shadow had a pretty decent lap so far as he makes his way through the final corner. A few drivers just about to cross the line. Packy P6, Shadow across the line. P3, 32.222. Maybe does he want to go again? He's looking likely to go again. There's still time for him. Only one more. M Racer, P4, 32.357. Maloney makes it over Aston Martin, third row, sorry, with a 5 and 6 for Maloney and Broken, with Shizuluka having a little bit of a moment at turn 3, and onto the gravel he goes, as Bobbitt's as well in P8, only half a tenth up on his time. There's the checker flag. It's over for now, and that is Clenzo and Connor about to cross the line. Connor about to cross the line now. P7 for him. Brilliant qualifying from him across the line, as Bobbitt's about to cross the line now, rounding the final corner, still half a tenth up so far. He makes his way through the final corner. Where can he put his Alfa Romeo machine? He can put it P5, 32.495. That is a brilliant qualifying from him. Up into P5 he goes, but there's still time for a few more. Wilson about to cross the line, I believe. Yes, it is. Across the line he will come and goes into P13, stays P13. So there's still only a few more that can try and beat him. Agonize has invalidated on his time. He will start no higher than 19th. Findium also on a lap 4 tenths up. Championship rival, of course, is Alfie. I believe it stops. Harvey on pole position. 31.823. Where did that come from? Absolutely fantastic from Harvey there. Pole position. He beats Elite's time there by only a tenth of a second. Brilliant lap time there from Harvey. Is Shadow still out there? Rexo put it into P6. Shadow across the line. Pole for Shadow. There it is. He's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. 5 tenths of a second to Harvey, and Shadow on pole position. He's back in Australia.
Yeah, great from Shadow. Harvey threw himself on pole for momentary. But, I mean, does Will Elite, Findium there, goes P3. Will Elite rue his going into and retirement early doors, really. There's Alfie coming into second place, trying to get through it. But we know how good Harvey can be in the wet. You know, we saw it in the challenges, and now he's P3. He's in the championship standing fight himself as well. But, you know, great to see some new names in there as well. M Racer, phenomenal job in P6, doing a great job there. Colenso getting himself back up to the top as well. We were expecting a little bit of fireworks from Shadow, but 5 tenths clear, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic from Shadow there. Couldn't have asked for a better return to the Xbox side, and gets pole position by almost 5 tenths of a second. That's an absolutely fantastic outing from him. Alfie will be very happy with his P2 alongside Harvey in P3, and it is the top 4 in the championship, which is first, second, third, and fourth on the grid. That's absolutely fantastic to see, with Harvey in P4, Findium in P3, Alfie in P2, Shadow on pole position, but an absolutely fantastic return for Shadow there.
He's exactly what he would have wanted as well. Great to see that he hasn't lost any touch with the Xbox side of things. So it is Shadow on pole by just over 4 tenths of a second. It's nothing really. Alfie in second place, Harvey in third, Findium in fourth, fifth going to Elite. I mentioned it. I wonder how much he's going to rue not doing another lap. Sixth place to M Racer, seventh to Clenzo, Mel in eighth place there, Placky in ninth, 10th going to Rexro, and that's your top 10 there. So outside of that is Bobbitt's, Broken, Connor, Luca, Boots, Wilson, Cindery, Bourbon Boy, and WR Agonized with Recluse having that crash early doors. That is such a shame for him. Would have wondered what sort of time he would have been able to do, as that's mental.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, obviously Recluse was probably looking quite decent to try and put himself up there. Obviously a return to the tier for him, and he's definitely trying to prove himself there, but just unfortunate with that incident just before 14, which is going to cost him. But thankfully for a few drivers out there, it is a dry qualifying, so they can start on any tyre they wish to desire. I probably would assume a lot of the drivers electing for the mediums to start off with, and then go onto softs later on, as Agonize electing for the hards in the race direction, which is interesting to say the least, but maybe trying for a longer strategy as the race is about to begin. A few drivers electing for the mediums, top 3 electing for the mediums, Findium electing for the softs. He may change his mind in a few seconds time, but the majority on the grid on the medium compound tyres, which is probably what you probably would have thought.
Definitely. So I'm just going to try and fix this problem we've got with my Elgato, so bear with us. So Jish, good luck, my friend. You're going to have to do a little bit of radio commentary for a second.
Yeah, that's fine. Shadow about to start formation lap now in the Red Bull, of course, on the medium compound tyres alongside Alfie in P2. Top 3 all on the medium compound tyres. Findium did actually elect for the soft compound tyres there, so he's starting a little bit more aggressive, so we may see him into P1 by the time of this first lap if he's quick about it. Elite also on the medium, so only people on the soft compound tyres is Findium, Maloney, Bobberts, Broken, Cindery and Recluse. Obviously the Recluse at the back of the field. Cindery in 17th, Broken in 12th, Bobberts in 11th, Maloney in 8th and Findium in 4th. Findium has a brilliant chance to try and get himself up the field early on. Strategy wise, soft to hard, I doubt we'll see any of that. Soft to medium as well from a few of the soft runners. Agonize on the hards as well, the only driver on the hard compound tyres. He'll be trying to go to the hards to softs. A lot of drivers will be electing for the mediums to soft. 29 laps upon us, so we should see the medium runners maybe in around lap 19, lap 20 if they push it a little bit more, try and go 10-9 laps on the soft compound tyres. Fairly easy to do so, but Shadow currently leading the way like he was in a few races ago when he was on the Xbox platform, has chosen to go to the PC side of things, and what an absolutely fantastic return to the tier would be if he gets a win tonight. Alfie hot on his heels in P2, and we all know the history between those two, notably in Holland and also notably more so in Canada. Harvey looking to prove himself as well in his debut in Tier 1. He's having a fantastic season. He's currently in P3 in the standings, only 8 points off Shadow. Shadow looking likely to try and retake the championship lead, or extend his championship lead, if you like, as you go into the next round in next week, which I believe is Portugal, if I am correct myself. Let's just have a look.
You are correct indeed.
Be Portugal. Let's have a look, and it is Portugal next week. But we're about to go green for the Australian Grand Prix as Shadow pulls into pole position. Recluse just about to make his way onto the grid as well, and I believe, Warder, are you back? Hopefully,
yes,
quite sure.
yes.
I think you are.
So,
Brilliant.
That managed to fix it just in time. It's a shame that we're not going to get to use the video that we usually do in the middle of this point, but here we are, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. 5 lights at Melbourne, and WR Season 12 is gone in Australia. Here comes a great start in the background, I think, of a Williams. Findium had an incredible start as well, but I think Harvey's lost the position. Shadow's held on for the time being. There's a bit of action below. There's Rexo's dropped down 4 places. Is that someone around in the background? No, it's a little bit of lag, but here's Findium round the outside. He's gone too deep. Elite has got lost a little bit as well, but Elite up into P4 and Colenso up into P5. Anything did I miss down there, Jish?
No, it didn't seem so agonised, losing to positions. A huge crash for Luca and Cindery, the two teammates there, as Luca smashes into the wall quite violently there, and Luca out of the race. Out of turn 4, Cindery is pulled to the left-hand side of the track there, which is not looking likely. There's a little bit of contact between the two Williams drivers. That is unfortunate to see there, with Cindery with major front wing damage. The virtual safety car is out. Shizu Luca, that was a really violent crash. He went into above the track there and smacked into the wall very violently, which is unfortunate to see. But Cindery with major front wing damage as he leaves the session in just anger. But Shadow still leads Alfie in P2 under the virtual safety car. Shouldn't see a full call safety car, I believe. Probably would have come out by now. But Shadow trying to extend his lead, and Alfie Findium, as he absolutely misses his braking zone there, going into the gravel, which is unfortunate for him. But we're about to go green once again for Australian Grand Prix. Shadow just interesting on his Delta. We're about to go green in a few moments time. Shadow bolts away. Alfie not quite close behind him, 5/10 back. There's a little bit of a jostling going on as they make their way through turn 1, turn 2. We should be going green in a couple of seconds time.
Yeah, it's such a shame for Luca and Cindery and Agonize both pit. We are expecting to go green, and Alfie's had a really good little stint looking into the back there, or Shadow trying to maybe put him off a little bit. Harvey back into P3 where he started, an Elite. That's a great start from him. Wonderful for the Red Bull driver to be as battling as he is. Let's have a look at the the tyres that they're on. Findium obviously was always going to be that bit quicker because of the soft tyres, but he has dropped down a little bit now. Alfie on the mediums, trying to compete with Shadow. This, are we going to see yet again another incident pack and controversial packed race between these two? They're side by side at the moment, 0.2 of a second coming into turn number 11 and 12, and it looks like Alfie's pretty much, that Haas is pushing the Red Bull around the circuit at times.
Alfie's pushing to the absolute limit here. He knows what's at stake. He knows the win is inbound, and these two are probably the best on Xbox right now. Obviously, Ronha leaving the platform. Shadow sort of leaving the platform. Returns tonight. Alfie has the crown in his hands at the moment, but Shadow is still yet to be defeated by a few of the drivers. He's currently leading the way, but Alfie absolutely electric in Sector 2. That's probably where he's going to make a few of his overtaking moves. DRS now available. Maloney fastest lap of the Grand Prix, immediately replaced by Broken with a 26.268 on the soft compound tyres. Alfie just losing about 5/10 there. DRS is enabled though, so he will have the benefit there. Harvey just lacking a little bit back. Here comes Elite down the inside of the Ferrari. Very, very tight between the two. He's going to look for it down the inside. Harvey's going to force him the long way around on towards the curves. A little bit of a moment for Elite, but he's going to have to wait another day. Brilliant defensive move from Harvey there, but Elite just going to have to wait a little while longer.
These two need to be a little bit smart about it, though. They don't want to battle too much. Alfie and Shadow already building a little bit of a gap to Harvey. Great defensive work from Harvey, but maybe it's a little bit too much for Elite at the moment. Just to be a little bit, play the patient game a little bit, and then attack. Wait for those tyres. Wait for everything to come to him, unless he is harder on his tyres than Harvey is. Harvey obviously dropping pace a little bit, not as quick as we thought he was in the wet, but holding station at the moment. It's a little bit of a DRS and a slipstream train that we've got going on, but in the background there, Findium desperate to try and find a way past Clenzo, but it's not happening at the moment.
Yeah, Clenzo really needs to heat up now as Agonizer retires on track. Just been a horrid evening for him. But yeah, Findium really has to make a lot of positions up now if he wants to try and get back in this championship fight. He's 3 points behind Shadow right now. He'll be quite far down at the moment. Shadow fast up of the Grand Prix. Now Findium gets that one extra point, 24.636. Alfie is still pushing like a demon at the moment on those medium compound tyres. Elite's going to try it one more time. ERS enabled for the youngster. Does he want to try it for the right hand side? He's going to try the wrong hand side. They're still side by side. Elite is trying everything he can out of turn 4. It's not going to work once again, but I think Harvey is going to know that Elite is usually going to try and attack in towards turn 4 as Alfie looking quick as well as he makes his way through turn 6 and in towards turn 7. Alfie really hot on his heels as he has been all race. Is on to Shadow. Harvey about 6 cents up, but he really has to try and catch up to Alfie to try and keep Elite at bay in P4. Clenzo still holding on strong, and P5 has a massive moment on the exit there, and now Findium can try and capitalize on this mistake to make their way through 11, 12 and 13 in a few moments time. And I wonder if Findium may try anything in towards turn 14. So they have the DRS enabled. Clenzo might just have this covered. Elite pushing Harvey all the way. Alfie is also pushing Shadow all the way, and there's battling everywhere you look.
There is battles everywhere. It's really difficult to keep on board with who's going to do what, as Findium has a little look up the inside of Clenzo into turn 15, but it's not going to happen on this occasion for him. Let's see what I don't know which one to go with. Alfie, will he make a move? He doesn't usually. He usually waits and plays the long game, but here comes Elite. There's nothing on him at this time, but I think this time round Alfie into turn 3, he might decide to make the move. And just behind, Elite's lost a little bit of ground. Does Alfie go up the inside? He does on Shadow, and he's taken the position. Will there be a switchback from the Red Bull driver? There is not. And in the background, Findium gets past Clenzo as well, using those soft tyres to good use. But Alfie now leads the Grand Prix.
Yeah, Alfie is a bit unusual that he would attack that early, but he probably knows he has a little bit more pace than Shadow, and obviously he wants to try and get this championship lead. They do not like each other. Of course, they have their fair share of incidences across the season. So Alfie not playing the patient game this time around. He wants to get it done easy as you like, and he's up in towards the lead. Meanwhile, Elite still on the back of Harvey. Yellow flags for the back. That's Bobbits, who's made a mistake somewhere. I believe that's into 10. Unfortunate for him, but Elite having a pretty decent exit on Harvey out of 13. He's pushing the limits to that Ferrari. Does he want to try anything? He's trying to the long hand side. That's a long way back from Elite, a little bit there, and he gets the door shut in his face. And he's being a little bit too aggressive here. I think Elite just has to try and wind it back a little bit and maybe just try and play the waiting game on Harvey. Obviously, he may think there's a little bit more pace than Harvey at the moment, but he's just going to get pulled back in this position here. So Shadow may have a little bit more of a go on Alfie into turn 3, you probably would have thought.
Let's go back on board with that then, as Findium trying to get himself involved in the battle for P3. Harvey looked like he was able to maybe attack Shadow, but all of a sudden the tables have turned. Here it comes, look in the background, the Red Bull driver. Oh, it says Harvey's gone deep into that, nearly collects one Red Bull driver. He's now battling side by side with the other one. He's going to hold position just about, and what does Findium do in this position? He doesn't attack, he stays behind, but there could be something big happening between Harvey and Elite at this stage. There's a little bit more contact between the two of them. And this is perfect for Alfie and Shadow. They can get away from this. And, I mean, Elite is desperate for something, but so is Findian. Up at the inside, into turn 9. And he's got the move done on the other Red Bull driver of Elite. And now Elite has a lot of work to do to, oh well, get back at Findian.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant move there from Findium. He had to make that move to try and make his way up the field, and now he's got it done. But Elite looking absolutely tasty on the exit, as he has been these past few laps. But look at his ERS, 25% he's down to. He's just been pushing a little bit too much for my liking, so he's going to have to try and conserve ERS right now. Just try and think about it on a later date. But Harvey, now that he's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Findium from himself and Elite battling, can now try and push back on the battle between Shadow and Alfie. And Alfie has been pushing a lot on those medium compound tyres, not a lot on the ERS, but has been absolutely pushing those tyres quite a bit to try and get this gap from Shadow. 4 tenths back at the moment. Shadow will be trying again with the DRS, probably not quite close enough to try and make a move. And he's not going to try, but Findium's going to definitely try into 3. He almost got the job done. Harvey's going to try for a switchback, and a switchback he shall do. And Harvey, the defensive maestro here in Australia, and that is an absolutely fantastic drive Harvey is having right now.
He has got a wise old head for someone so young. Harvey is able to, just know when things are happening. And he knew Findium was going to go a bit too deep into turn 3 and was able to get that switchback straight back on the Alpine driver. Harvey, he's in this title fight, and it's with good reason to as well. I know he hasn't taken a victory this season, but he's doing everything he needs to be in the position he is in.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you don't always need wins to just try and win championships. Also, you just need a wise head and know what you're doing. And Harvey has just that, and that is why he's so far up in the standings. Just keeps his nose clean and done what he needs to do, and he's currently sitting in P3 in the championship, and rightfully so. Alfie in P1 at the moment, and it's going to be very, very tight for the championship after this round. DRS wide open for all 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all of the drivers down to 16 all have the DRS on each other. As Elite Vet's the fast lap of the Grand Prix with a 24.630. Shadow really on the back of Alfie now. DRS wide open, maybe a little bit too far to think about it. He's going to think about it anyway, but decides better of it. And Findium having a little bit of a look as well. A little bit too far behind again, but they're still going to push all the way through. Shadow 3 tenths back on Alfie. Findium 2 tenths back on Harvey, with Elite just in the picture just behind, and he has been saving his ERS just these past few laps. He's back up into 50% range, so he's done well to just conserve his ERS, just trying to harvest these past few laps to just try and catch up, as Findium still plugging away on Harvey into P4. Harvey in P3. Shadow still plugging away on Alfie, but losing a little bit of time. 5 tenths is the gap between the two.
This is incredible stuff. M-Racer is the one that's going to cause a little bit of breaking and snake if he's not careful, but this is how close WR Tier 1 can be, and they are doing a phenomenal job at the moment just to keep going the way they're doing it. There's a little bit of a moment there for Findium at turn 13. It's unlucky for him, definitely turn 13. His back end nearly lost him massively, and Elite, was there waiting, and I think Findium is starting to struggle on those soft compound tyres. We're on lap 8 of 20, lap 9 of 29 now, and it's gonna, it's nearly cost Elite, and his, alternate strategy might not work for him here.
No, definitely not. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the pit lane in these next 5 laps or so, just to try for the medium compound tyres. But Shadow pushing on Alfie as well, as I believe what happened to Findium. He just broke a little bit too late. Wasn't expecting Harvey to break where he did, and almost made contact with the Ferrari and goes very, very wide. And Elite almost had a sniff on the Alpine, just couldn't get it done. And Findium does stay in P4 to his demise, but Elite looking a little bit quicker, and he knows that Findium is definitely struggling on the soft compound tyres, and he's probably best to try and get the move done sooner rather than later, you probably would have thought. But Shadow still in P2, 5 tenths back, and you can just tell that Alfie's best sector is definitely sector 2. That's where he pulls the most amount of time on Shadow right now, and Shadow really best in towards sector 1 and sector 3, would have thought, but Alfie is even stronger in sector 3, so you would say probably strong Shadow is probably only one best on Alfie in sector 1, and Alfie best of the rest through sector 2 and sector 3 is Elite. Still plugging away on Findium, but just can't find a way through. It's sort of a street track, if you like. Melbourne, obviously, we are on the public roads, but there are still a lot of overtaking opportunities you can do. Yellow flags in Sector 3. That is Pierce our boots round in the other half. Unfortunate for him, Tier 2 championship leader at the moment. And he just spins round in towards in towards turn 14 near the end of turn 15. Cleanser with a 3-second time penalty, but Shadow has a little bit of a mountain to climb right now. He's 3 tenths back at the moment, was 7 tenths in towards turn 2, but Findium still plugging away on Harvey, but Alfie looking pretty good right now as Boots retires in the pit lane.
It's not what we would want to see, but there's Bobbitt's having a mistake as well. I think in the background as well, we might lose Bobbitt's at this rate as well. But Findium, he's composed himself a little bit more now, and he's back into fighting with Harvey ahead and trying to get the move done. But he is dropping a little bit at certain points in the track, which make me think that the tyre wear is starting to get to him, because Elite is looking desperate now. He's trying to get the move done, maybe into turn 11. Will he be desperate enough to do that, or is it going to wait back and hold till turn 13, which is probably a better overtaking opportunity point? Let's have a look from the Elite's viewboard. He's going up the inside. Will he dart it? He will try. He's keeping his car there, causing Findium all sorts of trouble as they come around 14. That could very well be Elite back into P4.
Brilliant move there from Elite. Fair play to Findium to giving him the move. Yellow flags once again, and that is Rexo around, and that is actually Findium coming into the pit lane. I thought we might see him in a few laps time. He's coming into the pit lane, and so is Maloney and Broken off those soft compound tyres. They're just gone now, and the medium compound tyres till the rest of this Grand Prix will soon follow through. So now they're going to have to push quite hard in these next few laps to just try and catch up into the pit entry of Alfie and Shadow at the moment, and also Harvey and Elite. So might not be the worst thing in the world for Findium to pit there. You lost the position to Elite, obviously maybe thinking, if Elite passes me here, I'm just going to try into the pit lane. That's probably his thinking. So now he can try and push on Elite. He knows that he doesn't have a lot of VRS, so maybe he can try and catch him on the undercut here. Which is definitely possible, but Elite knows that he's going to have to try and push a little bit harder now these next few laps to just try and catch up to Harvey and Shadow and try and stay in front of Findium when he pits.
Yeah, Harvey then trying his best. He's doing a good job, Harvey. He's obviously held back the Red Bull before. He's now got that Elite who takes turns 11 and 12 so strongly every lap. He's attacking it continuously as that Red Bull on those corners, and he's managing to, that's where he is strongest in comparison to anyone else and everyone else, I think. And that could be why he's so quick.
Yeah, absolutely. His 11, 12 and 13 is absolutely immaculate, and his Sector 2 is so strong alongside Sector 3 as well, which is probably where he's gaining his time on those, as you said, and it probably is, and deservedly. Fastest lap with a 24.382. He's absolutely fantastic so far in that corner, and just gaining so much on Harvey, and he may have a little bit of a sniff here. He's using his ERS, just Harvey with the DRS is going to be a little bit too far back. He's thinking about it down in towards the inside, but thinks better of it a little bit too far back to try something there, but he's definitely really, really fast right now, and the fastest lap to him definitely shows that, and he's just even in, not even just Sector 2, he's quick in Sector 1, and also in Sector 3, so he's really, really quick right now, and if he goes on to win this, it might be just an achievement. Obviously, keeping his low screen right now, getting into non-necessary battles in the first instances, but now he can try and push on Harvey's. He makes a little bit of a mistake out of the exit of 10 there, but he's got a good run in towards 11 anyways. Harvey gets a little bit off power as well, in towards 11, in towards 12 once again, cuts the corner a little bit but fairly, in towards the DRS range using the ERS, but he's got absolutely nothing in the tank. 9% he's on, and Harvey with his 90% as well. He's not looking too healthy either, but with the DRS of Shadow, he's keeping in this podium position.
That is exactly what Harvey needs to do. Elite is probably going to be fed up of seeing a back end of a Ferrari by the end of this race. He's just got to keep on plugging away, and eventually...
He's
lost it!
Ali.
Elite is out of this Grand Prix. He's pushed it a little bit too hard. Surely that is a safety car. It is. And what does this do? Findium doesn't need a pit again. Alfie, Shadow, Harvey, Clenzo, Placky, and M-Racer, and Connor, and Wilson have just gone through half the grid. They all need to pit. This is big.
That was a little bit of a relief there for Shadow, as he made a big mistake as well. The exit of the final corner, lost all his position to Alfie there, and Harvey almost had him up there, but safety car came out just in time for Shadow's sake. But I doubt we'll see them in the pit lane at this time to try and go for the softs 13 to 29. I doubt we'll see the softs go there, but this definitely does play in the hands of Findium right now, unless Alfie and Shadow may elect for the 2-stop and maybe hope there's a safety car near the end. I doubt they can take that risk at the moment, so I probably think they'll probably try and stay out. They're going to have to stay out. They can't really pit, otherwise they'll lose track position. Obviously, the hards are just too slow of a tyre, so they're really stuck right now to know where they will go. I believe they'll probably try and stay out, but this definitely plays well into Findium. Obviously, fresh medium compound tyres, he can definitely try and make his way up the field in a few laps' time.
Such a shame for Elite. Quite obviously the quickest man on the track. I think it was quite clear to see. Alfie and I don't know if we truly know the true pace of Alfie and Shadow. I think they were in mind games with themselves. Everyone now darting into the pits. They're probably going to go onto the hards if we know what they're going to do. I don't know. It's such an odd position for them to go in. It looks like hards especially for the Honda car there. Is everyone else popping onto hards? Let's have a look. There's a few.
Alfie on softs, and also Cleanser on softs. So only Shadow on the hards. I think that's a mistake. I do think that might be a mistake there. He's going to be so slow at the start, and obviously everyone on the softs, I doubt they can make it as well. They may have to pit again unless they just try and save it like an absolute madness, as Findium comes out just in P6, just behind Placky there. But P6 right now, he doesn't have to stop again. But obviously, soft runners are going to be very, very quick at the start, but near the end of their stint, they're going to be absolutely gone. And obviously, Shadow, at the start, he's going to be very, very slow, but near the end, he may gather up a little bit of pace. But I think that might have been just a little bit of an error for Shadow, but there's not much he could have done. He kind of needed to pit just to try and maintain the track position, if you like. I'm not quite sure though. That's a very, very interesting one. Just an awkward safety car at an awkward time. And I'm not sure how this is going to play out for Shadow now. Obviously, on the hard compound tyres, he's going to have to push a lot to try and win this race. But it's going to be a very, very long few laps now for Shadow to try and push as hard as he can for those hard compound tyres.
Certainly is. Now, I suppose it is a good time to remind you that we are delighted to announce a second partnership for WOR this season. Is with GridRivals. So if you go into the description, you'll see the GridRival app or the link to join. Search for WOR or World Online Racing, and on that, join up, go up against head-to-head with other drivers. Or there's so many of WOR in there. It really does help the league continue to grow more than it already is. It's such a huge league, but the guys behind the scenes know they can go even better as well and give you a better experience. And with all your guys' help, that really does continue. Now, obviously, Shadow on those hards, that's the main thing, main talking point at the moment. But we can't back at it. Mel and Findium, they're on the softs, they're the medium, sorry. They're the highest medium runners in there. If they can just keep in this train, and when Alfie and Harvey, I'm saying Shadow's going to, I'm thinking Shadow's just going to drop off. I'm hoping it doesn't. This has given us such a different race to commentate over. This final, or this second half of the race is something that we don't often get to see, is it?
No, definitely not. But you probably would favour Findium and Maloney right now. Obviously, on the medium, on fresher medium compound tyres than a few of them as well. But obviously Clenzo with a penalty, so that's P5 and P6 for Findium and Maloney. Shadow on the hards. although on paper he may drop off, we cannot think that Shadow will not drop off. Obviously, such a talented driver and definitely one of the best on the game right now, which is definitely a big achievement for him. But obviously on the highs, he's going to push us as hard as he can and maybe see a Shadow we haven't seen before. But Cleanser obviously with the penalty that helps Findium. Plucky on fresh softs, that's going to help him a little bit at the start of the race, but at the start of the restart. But near the end, Findium and Maloney are just going to peel back, obviously just waiting for Bobbits now. So we may get one more lap on the safety car, lap 17. We may go out of 21. So it may just help the soft compound tyres. 12 laps on the softs, maybe a little bit easier than what they would have thought, but it's definitely going to be a tough one. But this changes the race absolutely to the max, so it's definitely going to be interesting how these final, say, 15, 14 laps play out.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that intro video that usually you get to see between qualifying and the race, and it takes us back. It took us back to season 9 when Pancakes was leading the race on the final lap on a set of hards. There's a big train behind him. He gets a puncture. All of a sudden, the safety car is in this lap. That's a little bit of a deja vu moment. We could get to see it here. If these guys are pushing too hard on the softs, it could end up all going badly. But the safety car restart is very much all about what Alfie does and when does he go. I think he's gone now. Shadow was desperate to keep close to him. He's gone. It looks like Clenzo might actually try and do something with Harvey. I don't know. Harvey is just weaving around, trying to heat those tyres up a little bit. But Shadow's had a great start on those hard compound tyres and, pulled away 8/10 to Harvey. And there is Mel. Mel's around by the looks of things at turn 2. And is that front wing gone, or is that just him having issues with heating his tyre up? I don't know if there's any damage to that. But such a shame for Mel and a lot of work for him to do.
Yeah, no damage it seems from Mel, just a little bit of an issue with Titans maybe out of the exit, but Alfie absolutely cracked that start to a nail there just out of the exit of Sector 1. He's now got 8/10 clear of Shadow. Obviously, a little bit of mind games there from Alfie, just forcing Shadow wide there, but he's now got a second in front of Alfie, and Shadow obviously just getting a little bit mixed up, obviously on a slower compound, on the slowest compound of dry tyres, so he's going to have a little bit of a mountain to climb, but near the end of the race he may be able to claw it back. Harvey looking eager to try and get in front of Shadow at the moment. 4/10 back on the Red Bull drivers, and Racer chucked it down the inside of the Alpine of Findium there into P6. And Findium on the medium compound tyres is going to be a struggle, but he can definitely do it near the end of this race. Through the left-hand corner they come. Here comes Harvey out of the final corner. Not DRS just yet. They're going to have 2 more laps until DRS is over. Alfie fast up of the Grand Prix, 22.931. We're into the 22s now as Harvey really eager to get in front of Shadow. There's Connor, makes his way through past Findium there, and Findium using position after position after position as Clenzo's having a little bit of a look on Harvey there as he makes a mess of turn 2, I believe, and Clenzo having a little bit of a look around the outside of the Ferrari. Not going to happen. Harvey really pushing on the back of Shadow now, as Shadow losing a lot of time to Alfie now, almost 2 seconds he's lost out of 2 laps. So they make their way through into turn 8. And into turn 9 they come in a moment's time. Harvey having a brilliant exit there. He's going to try it around the outside of the Red Bull. Side by side they go. Harvey's going to break a little bit later. Shadow lets him have it. And Harvey up into P2. And now can try and break away on Alfie. And this is brilliant for his championship aspirations.
Yeah, great from Harvey. Clenzo now having to get past the slow Red Bull. It's such a shame to see Shadow, but he's still trying to give as good as he can get on those hard compound tyres. He's going to stick in the slipstream of the Ferrari driver, but what does Clenzo do? Does he dart up the inside of 13? He does. It's side by side. I think that was a little bit of a do or dare moment, and a little bit of a swiggle from the back end of Shadow, and Clenzo up into P3. He didn't want Harvey to get away, and he just about will have DRS if he keeps it in this kind of pace.
Brilliant move there from Clenzo, very, very late, but gets it done. Brilliant move. Nevertheless, DRS now enabled, and now Placky has a go on Shadow now in towards turn 3. If he's close enough, maybe just a little bit off throttle at the moment in time. Doesn't want to get it done this early on, but M Racer closing in on Placky as well, alongside Connor and Wilson. Findium down to 9th, but he is the lead medium runner. It's got a little bit of a gap to Broken in P10. Yet to score, of course, is Broken in this championship, and he's got that 1 extra point. He's got that 1 point for P2 so far, and looking pretty good about about it. Alfie will be bringing home 26 points for Haas and for the driver's standings at the moment. So he's looking good to try and keep the momentum going to try and take the championship lead. Obviously, Harvey looking good in that P2 spot as well. Finium not looking great, only 2 points he's going to get right now. And obviously, Shadow will outscore him as well. And the championship is definitely up on his head right now. But Clenzo closing in on Harvey, but gets another penalty. And that is going to demote him even more positions. 6 seconds of penalties he has now, alongside M Racer, his esports teammate in WOR, with also Recluse, who's having a good race in P11. Obviously, with the 6-second penalty, he's going to cost him a little bit. But from the back of the field to P11, he's had a pretty decent race so far.
Yeah, it's a good little thing for Recluse there, especially after a disastrous qualifying, crashing out very early doors. The interesting thing is going to be Shadow is keeping within the DRS of Clenzo at the moment. The longer this goes on, the pendulum, while it's definitely with the softs at the moment, if he can just keep up there, the pendulum will start swinging towards the hard compound. It's just, is he going to have enough time to do it? Placky's just not able to capitalise on Shadow at the moment. Shadow now dropping outside of that second. The DRS range is going to be, his DRS activation zone is out of reach for him on Clenzo now, and that could be where Placky, M Racer and Connor and Wilson all start attacking the Red Bull driver in currently P4.
Yeah, absolutely. Placky has got a really good shot to try and take P4 here. Obviously, Shadow on slower compounded tyres and out of the DRS of Clenzo. Placky has got a really good opportunity, maybe out of the exit of turn 13 and in turn 12, and into 13 he may have a little bit of a move, as Clenzo did a few laps ago, and that is just that. He's got a brilliant exit. Shadow's going to let him go to the left hand side, Placky to the right hand side, and Placky, as you said, up into P4, easy as you like on the McLaren, on the Red Bull, and the McLaren up in towards P4, and right now on the podium from Clenzo's penalties.
Yeah, I think Shadow was wise to it as well. He can't really fight because of those hard compound tyres. So he's just got to try and stick within the DRS as best he can. We know how good a racer he is. He can defend for a while, but without DRS, he's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck. So he's just keeping up where he can, and I think that's for the best. And there is someone out. Is that Recluse around? Let's have a look from Mel's point of view. Can we see it in time? Yeah, Recluse has gone a little bit. That's a shame for him. I wonder if that's front wing damage for Recluse as well. What a shame for him.
Yeah, big shame there, and obviously all that hard work done has now unrelieved itself, and obviously don't think any front wing damage on that Mercedes. No, it's not, just a little bit of an impact on the rear end as there's more yellow flags, and that's Bourbon Boy around as well. Just making a little bit of a mistake. He's done well to keep it on the track, but just a little bit of a mistake has cost him a few positions. But unfortunate to see as Clenzo has really been pushing a lot to try and catch up to Harvey now, and he could be in striking distance. He makes a little bit of a mess of turn 12, but he's got a good exit nevertheless. Harvey with the lack of DRS, Clenzo with the DRS, down the inside he goes, and Clenzo up into P2 on track, but with the penalties he's going to fall down the order quite a bit. But Harvey back down into P3, but I'm not sure he'll be half bothered, as Clenzo has a fair share of penalties. But the main driver he has to worry about now is Placky, and hope he doesn't get into his DRS.
Yeah, Harvey's just got to keep up with Clenzo. Clenzo's obviously got some pace. Let's go behind and see M-Razor dispatch of Shadow. That's Shadow down to P6 now on those harder compound tyres. We're still not 100% sure whether he chose to go on the hards or if the game pushed him onto the hards. That's the other possibility. Connor doesn't make a move on as the Recluse retires from the session. Connor doesn't attack Shadow into turn 3. So now actually puts himself in a little bit of a defensive problem with Wilson behind.
Yeah, definitely so. Obviously, Wilson is joining this party, and maybe a little bit of a show here from 2WR drivers, really pushing on the Parnell driver of Shadow, and it's looking a little bit menacing right now for Shadow. Obviously, he hasn't had the pace so far, as everyone has elected for the softs. He went on to the hards. That might be not his fault. It may be the game who put him on the hards for whatever reason. As Connor, will he get the exit he desires? Not particularly, but he will have the DRS on the Red Bull, the sister car of the AlphaTauri. Having a look on the big brother of Red Bull, not quite close enough in towards 13. He's going to have to wait a little while longer into 14. May try it in towards turn 3, maybe turn 1 if he's lucky enough. In towards the penultimate corner and into the final corner. They come through the right-hand corner fourth gear action. He takes it in his Connor. DRS wide open and the ERS available to use. He's going to push all the way here. M-Racer, fast lap of Grand Prix 22.631. There goes Connor in towards P6. Wilson's going to have to wait a little while longer, but Connor up into P6 and Shadow down into P7 and maybe P8 for him with the lack of DRS. Wilson to the right hand side, Shadow down to P8, Wilson up into P7. Shadow's going to try and defend it as best he can, but it's to no use, and Wilson up into P7.
Yeah, the longer this goes on though, the better those hard compound tyres will be, but still it's probably not going to give Shadow much comfort. Broken then picking up another penalty. It's going to cost him some points if he's not careful, and Shadow now trying to attack back, but at the moment those soft tyres are holding station at the moment. They're a little bit longer, but they've got 7 laps remaining to do, 7.5 laps. But those hards are slowly getting themselves bed in, and will come good to Shadow eventually. It's just whether they'll come good quick enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now it's going to have to be when it comes back about now, or maybe never, as Rexo gets a 3-second penalty. You can see Shadow, he's keeping in the DRS of Wilson, so they may be just starting to switch on about now. So now he can maybe try and get an attack going, but as the soft start to die, it's getting a little bit better for Shadow at the moment. Through the final corner, DRS is available to him, but obviously Wilson with the DRS is not going to close up as much as he would like. Connor with the lack of DRS, we might see Wilson have a go on Connor into turn 3. They make the way through turn 2. DRS wide open once again for Wilson. Is he close enough to make the move? Not using any of his ERS. He's not quite close enough this time around. But M-Racer having a great Grand Prix so far with the fast lap to his name. And obviously those 6 seconds of penalties added to his name is not going to help him at all. But P5 at the moment, he's pushing on Placky. It could be P4 on track. Harvey keep doing well to keep into Cleanser's DRS, and I think they're just starting to play with each other at the moment. They're just starting to work with each other. Obviously, they're getting on Alfie. 2.1 is the gap between the two of them, between Cleanser and Alfie. So Harvey just doing well to keep his distance, and just starting to work with Cleanser ever so slightly, which is smart from him. But the other Ferrari of M-Racer really looking likely to try and take Placky's position if he tries to close up ever so slightly.
Yeah, he's dropped off a little bit. Probably not what he would have wanted. I think there was a little mistake through turn 9, which cost him. Maybe it's a sign of the tyres dying a little bit. Obviously, we can't take the true tyre lap. It says 9 laps, but really they've only been battling for 6 laps or so because of the safety car that's come out and cost Shadow a little bit at the moment. But Shadow's keeping station with Connor and Wilson. That's exactly what he needs to do. He's keeping up there at the moment. There could be signs that the hards, like you mentioned, are switching back to, switching on a little bit in comparison to the softs. These softs have been run a little while, like we've said. Harvey then, again, getting close to the back end of Clenzo, but nothing on this occasion. And M-Racer, exactly the same. But look at that, Connor really struggling through turn 3 and held them up a little bit.
Yeah, massive error as well for Shadows. He loses the car ever so slightly. Lucky to not bin it into the wall at the moment, but very lucky to not see a swift end to his Grand Prix and end up point 3. But right now, the best Shadow can do maybe right now is 7th with the podiums, with the penalties to apply at the moment. But he can definitely try and close up to Wilson in 7th, Connor in 6th. That may be up to 5th. If he works well with it. Only about 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. He has the DRS on Wilson. He's pushing that Red Bull car to the absolute limit, and he wants as many points as he can possibly conquer at the moment. Maybe P5, P4 is on the cards if Cleanser just slows up ever so slightly. But you can see how much Shadow is pushing, and he's almost losing the car at every corner, but he's pushing to the absolute maximum, and those hards are definitely now starting to work for that Red Bull through the final corner. He has the DRS on Wilson. This is the closest he's been all these past few laps on Wilson, but Wilson with the DRS is going to close up to Connor, and Shadow not getting as close as he deserves through into turn 1, absolutely pushing that Red Bull to the limit, and he's definitely looking a little bit lively as he was a few laps ago.
Yeah, taking as much as the curb on the exit and on the entry of everything. He's just pushing to the max at the moment. His Shadow, he knows there's a lot of time to be gained if he wants to catch up with Alfie, which seems nearly insurmountable right now. If we have a look, he's 8.8 seconds away from Alfie. Is it possible for him to catch? It would take a little bit of a miracle, but if anyone could do it, it would be someone like Shadow as well. I think we've lost Bobbits again as in Sector 1, or the entrance of Sector 2 there. So he's not having the best of lucks, down in 13th place at the moment. Harvey's not able to attack Clenzo too much, and Clenzo is, well, lost a little bit of time to Alfie as well. So the main battle we've got going on is probably for P6. Even though M-Racer is attacking Placky, it's not really much we could go off right now because of the penalties.
Yeah, definitely so. This is the main battle we really need to see. Connor versus Wilson versus Shadow. Connor goes a little bit too deep out of the penultimate corner, and Wilson will get a nice run on him. Is he close enough into turn 1? Does he want to make that move? Yellow flags in turn 1. That is Placky, and Alfie's gone! I don't believe it!
That is no front wing on the Haas car. I wonder if it's a return to what has happened with him before, where the wheel just died. That has left. It's a safety car as well. Has this saved and costed? Do people pit? Do they pit? There's no need, surely. What do they do at this stage?
You're surely going to have to pit to go those 3 laps on the soft compound tyres. Lap 26 to 29, there's 3 laps to go. We should only see maybe 1 or 2 laps of the safety car. May go green around lap 28. We may even have 1 lap of racing, you never know. But Alfie, without a front wing, and the safety car deployed, I was wondering, yellow flags. That was for Placky, I believe, going backwards, but I saw Alfie as well going slowly, and Alfie's been in the wall. Clenzo now leads, which means Harvey right now is leading this race with the penalties, and Placky in P4, which has really brought Shadow back into the equation, and we may see Shadow back on top after all. But Alfie, once again, not looking good. Obviously, the win was looking really, really good at the moment. He had a 2.5 second gap to Clenzo in front. Will Clenzo pit? He's looking into the pits. Yes, he does. Harvey into the pits. And Racer has to stay on. He doesn't want a double stack. Placky stays on for track position. Wilson comes into the pits. Connor plays the pits. Harvey, the 5-second penalty. I don't believe it. Harvey with a 5-second penalty. It's looking like he may have had the win, and with that 5-second penalty, he's gonna cost him dear. I do not believe what is happening in this race, as everyone pitting onto fresh softs to go to the end of this race. Rexo pits as well. Alfie has to pit. Bourbon Boy pits. Bobbits is in. I'm pretty sure Maloney will pit as well. But this now sees M Racer in the lead. Placky P2, Shadow in P3, he stayed on the hards, and right now Placky will be winning this race with Shadow in P2, Wilson in P3, Connor in P4, Finney on P5, and if it stayed like that with the penalties and they all back up into each other with Rexo P6, Bourbon P7, Bobbits P8 with Maloney 9th, Alfie in 10th, I do not believe this at the moment. With 27 and 29, we should see the safety car maybe come in lap 28. We may even have only the final lap of racing. I can't believe it. We will not have any DRS. This is turned on its head absolutely, and more controversy here in WOR Xbox Tier 1.
What have we just witnessed? This is incredible. Lap 27 of 29, we've got our second safety car. It's got to be in this lap, because I know the game only it can't register 1 lap of racing at the end. So the safety car is in. What does M Racer do here? What do any of these drivers do? Shadow broken. Oh my goodness. There is so much thought process that is going on. They've got to think, how does M Racer restart this? Look at that Harvey in the background. 5-second penalty has cost him absolutely dearly. What does Wilson do? You know, Placky and Shadow. Oh my goodness, we just do not know. M Racer's doing everything right. He's letting that safety car go. He's holding everything up. When does he go though? This is the thing. He's got really worn tyres, and he's going to be battling with the likes of Shadow, who those hards should really be right in the window. M Racer's finally gone. He's gone a little bit earlier than I was expecting, and he's gone. He's caught Placky out. Shadow has not been caught out, but look at Harvey. He's desperate. Clenzo's desperate as well. They're going to catch them out. Harvey is desperate to follow through. A little bit of contact there, I think, and I think Harvey is going to struggle to get through Broken. He doesn't. He pushes Broken out wide a little bit, and Wilson gets through as well. Just in the foreground, Shadow is going to try and get Placky through turn 3. Is it going to hold? They're side by side, still side by side, but Shadow putting his muscles out and desperate and now he's 1.5 seconds away from winning this Grand Prix.
Yellow flags in 6-1. That's Findium gone. And the championship rival in P2 has spun around. That's not what he needed. He may be front wing damage as well for that Alpine with Shadow in P2. Shadow's now leading this Grand Prix with Cleanso also with a penalty. Shadow has done an absolute blinder here with staying out on the hard compound tires. He doesn't really need to defend from Cleanso too much as Alfie has had a spin as well. That sees Alfie's third day over with Cleanso now pushing away. Harvey as well pushing as well. Findium with another penalty. Here comes Cleanso trying to attack on the Red Bull as Shadow should really let him go, and he does. And Cleanso up into P2, but obviously with the penalties, he still has the lead. Wilson barging his way through Placky as Connor tries to follow through like a karting motion, and he does so. Harvey looking on Shadow. Shadow makes a little bit of an incident round in towards the wide hander, and Harvey around the outside gets the job done, and Shadow's still going to have a little bit more to say about it. Side by side on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Here we go then. Harvey up into P3. Now Wilson is in P2 at the moment. Now has to try and catch up to Shadow to try and win this Grand Prix, to try and stop his championship advantage. Here comes Wilson pushing as hard as he can on Shadow right now. Through the right-hander in towards turn 3. Harvey with a 1 second gap on Cleanso at the moment. Is it going to be enough? It's going to be enough to win on track at the moment with the penalty, but Shadow right now is the race winner with all the penalties combined. Wilson in towards the right. He has to get this done a little bit too wide, and now Connor has a chance to try and get this win now. He's closing up as Cleanso gets the job done on M Racer. He now leads this Grand Prix. Wilson has only got one more corner to try and attack. Shadow is looking desperate right now. He's looking a little bit slow out of the exit of turn 9. Wilson is plugging all the way he can to try and push on Shadow here. Into 11, into 12, and Wilson gets a little bit wide, and now it's do or die for Wilson. It's do or die for Shadow. Harvey gets up into P2, and it's going to be Shadow this time around. Connor having a look on Wilson, not going to do, and Shadow could be the race winner here in Australia unless something mad happens at the final corner.
This is crazy. Harvey gets past M Racer. M Racer down to 3rd. Cleanso's got to win on track, but is there going to be enough time? Is he got enough? Cleanso is going to cross the line in 1st place. Is that going to hold? Shadow does take victory from Wilson in the end, and I feel so sorry for some of these drivers that have got penalties there, but wow, what an end to this Grand Prix. Shadow somehow again takes victory.
Do not believe that. That is an absolutely incredible to see there. I cannot believe what we've just seen here in Australia, and more controversy as well. Alfie we're just so unfortunate how he's been in these final stages of the race. Just couldn't convert the win there, but Shadow from pole gets the win, and he takes even more championship points back home and extends his championship advantage. But what a race from Shadow there, but absolutely incredible. He did risk it by staying out, but it turned out to be the right decision on the hard compound tyres, got the job done on the softs, and he is the race winner by only a 1/10.5 to Wilson. It was almost a drag to the finish. Wilson from 16th to 2nd, absolutely fantastic. Connor from 13th to 3rd. Cleanso in 4th. Harvey with 5th with a penalty in the pit lane that maybe looks up, but got the fastest up in the end, which puts 1 extra point to his name in P3 in the standings. But the biggest losers at the moment is Alfie and Findium in this battle for the championship. But penalties may still be looked at. Harvey could still win this race. It may not be over. The penalties could still be taken away and put on. You never know.
Wow, that is... I don't think I've ever seen a race as crazy as that. Let's get the track info up. Actually, no, let's go just straight to the podium interview section there. We'll wait and see if anyone will join us today. But I tell you what, I mean, for the first time or as a full-time Tier 1 commentator, Jish, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better race, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. That's one of the best races I've seen on my time of commentary. It's been a short one, but it's been an absolutely fantastic one so far. Definitely an absolutely fantastic race. And if this is to go on for the rest of the season with 5 rounds left to go, this is going to be absolutely incredible. Portugal next, and then we head to Saudi Arabia, France, Britain, and Brazil. 5 rounds left to go, and the championship is getting a little bit heating up. Shadow still remains in the lead, but it's getting pretty tight out there.
It certainly is, and I mean, Placky decided to stay out, and it didn't work for him in the end there, unfortunately. But who would have called it? Safety car right at the end. I mean, to be honest, it looked like the Alfies to lose. He was obviously it was in the end. He was so quick, and I feel so sorry for him because he's had a fair few issues. It hasn't been his fault with the wheel disconnecting or the force feedback going. I know that's happened for a lot of people in league racing in general, but such a shame. But it's made this championship so entertaining as well. But Shadow, he's got a 25-point advantage. Well, he's got that 25 points tonight. Harvey obviously picking up that extra point for the fastest lap, but it's an incredible season, and I don't think it's over yet.
No, definitely not over just yet. There's still more twists to the tail. Obviously, Shadow looking pretty decent. Not sure if he will be at the next one or not. He may just be with the depth of the PC tier. I'm not sure what will happen with that, if we do see him for the rest of the season or not. But at the moment, it's looking a little bit better for him at the top. He has a little bit more of a comfortable lead at the top, maybe just a few into the double digits now, but it's definitely looking a little bit better. I believe Harvey may jump up into second there with Findium and Alfie failing to score. So good points for Harvey, though nevertheless, obviously, the win could have been on without the penalty applied, but it's still a lot of races left to go for Harvey to try and pick up some points. Obviously, the win was on, but with that penalty, it's just costed. And obviously, if there are a couple of issues with speeding in the pit lane, it could get removed. But you never know here. There's still 5 rounds left to go. It's definitely not over just yet.
It definitely isn't. And I will cast your mind back one last time tonight that WOR have a second sponsor for the season. It is GridRival, and all the information is on the description in this video, and you'll also find it throughout the Discord or the Twitter. It'll be plastered everywhere, and we will talk about this because the start of the season's happened. It's all about that sort of stuff. You pick you go up against your friends or your fellow league racers here at WOR. So make sure you search World Online Racing on the GridRival app, the app, or the link is in the description. But for now, Jish, I mean, we haven't unfortunately got anyone come to join us in this chat because of the confusion about what is going to be the final position because of those penalties and everything that's going on. But round it out as best you can and give us your driver of the day, please.
I think my driver of the day probably is going to have to go to Shadow. Obviously, out on the Xbox platform, he's done absolutely fantastically on the hards as well. Risked it with people on the fresher softs, got the job done, and got the win in the end. And he is going to be my driver of the day for tonight.
Yeah, it was a great choice, that one. So fantastic. Thank you very much, Jish, for sticking in. And I look forward to the remainder of the season for this one. I believe it is going to be an absolute killer of a season, or the end of season that we have here in Tier 1 of WOR Season 12. But for now, we've got all the other tiers that you can find all the action with throughout this week. Find all the information on Twitter for World Online Racing. But for now, from both of us, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you all next week for the Portuguese Grand Prix.